I don't usually blog about things, but I watch a lot of American YouTube channels, and you guys have a problem with healthcare, and you guys are always wondering what, if the government should control it or what they should do. Like what we have in Canada, it's government funded, but it's not run by the government in the way people think it is. It's a little bit different than that. But this month, my grandfather had cancer surgery, like stomach cancer surgery, and like 60% of his stomach had to be removed. It didn't cost us anything. It didn't cost him. He's staying in the hospital free. He refuses the free color or the $8 a day television, so he's got no cable TV. Yeah, he's been listening to a radio and a Walkman he bought at Salvation Army because he's really cheap that way. But that's just one situation. Another situation is my cousin, who's only like 27. He had gallstones removed, which he's broke ass, so he probably wouldn't be able to afford to have that done. So who knows what would happen with him? Like God knows. So he had that done. He had complications afterwards, and he had to go back, and they took care of him again for free right away. He didn't wait. Now, I haven't used healthcare in that way, like I haven't needed it, but if I did, it's there. And if I never use it, well, two people in my family just got saved a lot of trouble, avoided a lot of pain and misery, and were able to get treatment in time. Which to me is more important than paying a little bit of extra taxes. Like, it's not a lot of extra tax, it's a little bit. I don't know. It seems fair. I mean, if you're going to save more than, one person's life just by paying a few extra bucks, wouldn't you rather say you did? I'm not asking you to give a kidney. They're just asking you for a few extra dollars. So realistically, isn't it worth it? Like, if you save your friend, your neighbor, whoever else by paying taxes, I mean, so long as it goes to the healthcare, not to administration fees and bullshit like that, pay it. They, ironically, neither of them smoke, and so, like, taxes up here on a pack of smokes are like $5 a pack, just for the tax. So, actually more than that. So that all goes to healthcare too. That's another way of funding it. You can directly tax things like chips and shitty things that aren't good for people, so they pay more taxes to put towards the healthcare, rather than just nobody paying it. But I mean, every province chooses its own type of healthcare and how they administrate it. In Alberta, they charge an extra fee. In Ontario, they don't, which I'm glad. But our taxes are higher than Alberta's, so that's just how it goes. But they don't. It wouldn't be like if we had states, we wouldn't tell them how to do their healthcare. They do it the way they want to. But they just have to make sure it's all administered, that anybody who needs care is going to get it. I don't know, there's my aunt's friend just passed away from cancer, and all her treatment and hospice and all that was all paid for by the government. And ironically, she was a nurse for years and years, so it's not like she didn't contribute. I mean, there's just a lot of people in this last year, family, friends, people that all required health care, and they received their treatment. I don't know. Like I say, I haven't used it, and I pay extra because I smoke, but it's worth it. I just can't see. They talk about death camps. Well, all those people could possibly have died because they couldn't afford the treatment, but they're not going to. The government's taking care of them. They built us a new hospital, way over budget, of course, because the government built it. Well, what the fuck? We got a new hospital. No one's complaining about that. I don't know. Better treatment, better care. I mean, it took us a while, but things built up. Same in Britain. It's not like it happens overnight. I know, like in America, you guys got way more opportunity to get drugs if you want it, if you can pay for it, and better care if you can pay for it, which is awesome. In fact, we should do some more of what you guys do in terms of that stuff. Like, I think that you should be allowed in Canada to buy an MRI if you're on a waiting list. If you want to go to the States and pay $1,100, go to the States and pay $1,100. Get one tomorrow. Should be no problem, but we're not supposed to be doing that. They don't like it. we also get extra coverage too. Like, if you're a full-time worker, the company has to give you benefit plans, and in those benefits you get like 100% dental care, say for example, or like 90% medical or pill coverage and crap like that. So there's other things too, that it's not all purely a government system. There's you pay extra if you want more. So you have to consider all that. It's not like some sort of communist regime where they collect a whole shitload of taxes and who knows where the money goes. It's all budgeted. It's paid attention to. It's an important issue. Like, if you take a poor person, and say if you're a rich person, you really don't give a shit too much about the poor, but if everyone's paying towards taxes, the poor people are a little more healthy. So they can work more. So if you want to be an asshole and you want to give somebody shitty shifts and long hours with low pay, the government, if you pay a very low deductible in taxes, because in some ways it relieves companies of responsibility because the government covers it, right? So, like if a worker gets injured, there's a sort of insurance plan the companies pay into, but the government takes care of it and pays for and administrates to a degree. And so they're covered. So you don't have to worry about your workers. You don't have to spend as much on them if, like, they can't sue you, for example. If you get hurt on the job, you have to go through the government. The government will allow you to sue, which is a shitty thing in some cases, but it protects companies. So if you think that our healthcare is like leftist or socialists, well, then you got to think about, then why would we protect companies from employees being able to sue them? I mean, that's not very, socialist. You'd think we'd be like, oh, well, the company should have to pay all the money. We don't. So you got to think about all this when you have healthcare. I think you've gotten yourselves into a lot of bullshit stories from Republicans and Democrats, and so it's a more comprehensive plan than just simply saying government healthcare. Yeah, that's a very basic way of stating the whole case. It's not just that. It's a lot of things like the pills and all that. There's the best part the government plays is not so much that, like, say our hospital, it's not run by the government per se. It's run by a trust fund group that operates the hospital, that gets some money from the government but has to meet these certain operating conditions. So it's different. You know what I mean? It's not the biggest role the government plays is making rules and making sure people stick to the rules. So a lot of our stuff is privately run, but it's the referee is the government. So they say, well, you can't do this or you can't do that if you want our money. You have to do this. It puts the government in a good position rather than being a bunch of bitches to corporations, They tell them, like, this is how we do it and that's how it's going to be done. Why should you go around sucking the corporation's ass? Not to not help them. Like I say, we help them out in lots of ways. We don't kiss their ass. Yeah, so good luck with your health care. Hopefully Obama will get 4 more years just to see if he can pull this shit off. Because then he won't have to toady to all these other little things. He can do his bombing run just like everybody does in their 4 more years. But yeah, that's the Canadian perspective of American healthcare.